Hi, my name is Lauren Nava, and the movie that I chose is The Croods. This is a table of contents which includes all 12 slides that I'm talking about, which includes a title, table of contents, the plot summary, character summary, the culture, listening, verbal messages, nonverbal messages, interpersonal conflict, interpersonal relationships, personal evaluation, and lastly, the resources. This is my plot summary, which I'll be talking about what is the main subject of the movie. Meet the Croods, a caveman family that work together to survive a dangerous world day by day. They are the only family that survive their time zone, and that is because they follow one rule: everything new is bad. However, they don't know the place they call home is coming to an end, and they will have to go out into the world to survive what they call the end of the world. Eve meets Guy, who is willing to help her and her family survive. There's only one problem. Grog does not like Guy one bit, and this brings the family trouble. Together, they will explore the outside dangerous world with a random guy they just met. These are my characters in the movie. This is Grog. He is the father. This is Uga. She is the mother. This is Grant. She's Uga's mother. Here we have Eve, which she is the daughter. Dunk is the brother. Guy, he is the guy who helps the family through their journey. This is Sandy, and she's the baby of the family. First, I'm going to be talking about culture. Culture is a specific way a person acts by the roots they came from. This describes how the person thinks, speaks, acts, habits, etc. The Croods is a family that lived ages ago and are known as cavemen. The way they think, act, eat, etc. is way different from the culture nowadays. Croods are known for being a cave family. They only go out of their cave to hunt for food. They hunt for food as a family, and they share in equal portions the meal. Grug thinks being inside a cave is the best way for his family to stay safe. He does not approve for his family to be outside of the cave if it is not for hunting. Listening is the key of communication. When two persons are talking, the sender, who is the person who is sending the message, is talking and sending his or part of the message to the receiver, who is the second person who is receiving the message. It is important for the receiver to be paying attention to the person who is sending the message when communicating, so the message can be sent nice and clear without any miscommunication. Ulg is having a conversation with Grog over Eep's behavior as Grog had an alteration with Eep. Ulg is trying to communicate with Grog and send him a message. Ulga starts explaining to Grog that Eep is going through a rough time now where she needs her own space. Grog receives the message and understands what Ulga is telling him. He backs away from Eep, giving her her own personal space to calm down. Verbal messages. Verbal communication is the way a person expresses themselves by speaking. They are explaining in words their emotions or what they are thinking. When Guy first meets Eve, they have an alteration. Guy has a bonfire on since it's nighttime and he's scared of the dark. And Eve does not know this. As the fire is turning off, Eve is not letting Guy go near the fire as she claims the fire is hers now. Guy starts begging to Eve and is asking her to please let him get the fire back on because he hates the dark. He's expressing himself with words that show fear, and Eve understands this and lets Guy turn the fire back on. Nonverbal messages. Nonverbal messages is a communication without any words spoken. This means a person can try to figure out how another person is feeling just by looking at their gestures, facial expressions, or body positions. In the part of the movie when Eve sees Guy make fire for the first time in her life, Eve is amazed by what he has done. I can tell she's amazed by her face expression. As Eve sees fire, her eyes starts getting wide open. She opens her mouth of excitement and she starts getting closer to the fire, taking a closer look at it. Interpersonal relationships. Interpersonal relationships is the connection that happens between two or more people. This includes caring for one another, honesty, and accepting one another by how each person is. The entire Croods family is a perfect example of interpersonal relationships. They care for another and are through each other's side in the good and in the bad, even though sometimes they still manage to work out their conflict and be and be one as a family. In this movie, the family had their up and downs as they explore a new world, but by the end of the movie, they just become stronger and closer than ever. Interpersonal conflict. Interpersonal conflict happens when two or more people disagree on something and get into an argument. This can happen when a person does not like another person's way of thinking, culture, personality, attitude, etc. The crews get into a conflict when an eruption happens on Earth and Grog finds a cave for them to hide in. However, the rest of the crew's family disagree with Grog, and they stand up to him, telling him that no more caves for the family. They also mention to Grog that they are going to follow Guy. This upsets Grog, and he doesn't understand why his family does not want to listen to him anymore, making a conflict happen between him and his family. This is the evaluation summary. This class taught me a lot about communication. I found this class interesting as there's different types of communications that I learned about in the past 5 weeks. Every day we use this communication and we don't even know about it. I have learned that listening is the key to communication. Without listening or paying full attention, you will not receive the message clearly. I learned that in every communication there is what is called the sender, which is the person who is talking and sending the message to the receiver. This is when listening comes in. Enable for the receiver to fully understand the message. He needs to listen to the sender to fully receive the message without misunderstanding the message. I also learned how interpersonal conflict affects the communication between people. When two persons or more have a conflict, a lot comes in mind. This depends on the type of person who is having the conflict. One person can be mad and screaming and not listening to other person. Another person can be mad and expressing themselves by crying with anger or just walking away. These are my resources. This is from the movie, there's the book, and I posted 3 YouTube videos explaining the parts of my that are my PowerPoint. Thank you.